in school where I'd go with long ass braids, like long, like here, past knee length. And I look at them like
big yesterday.
It's like, yeah, to me, I'm a black woman. Like Whitney said, or Chaka Khan, whichever one you want to pick. I'm everyone. It's all in me.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo, look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.
Hi everybody, it's your girl Oluwatumide.
I am Hlengiwe Masuku.
And we are back with another episode. This time we're talking hair politics.
Ooh.
Yes, the hair politics within white society, hair politics in black homes, hair politics with black men.
Hair politics. I have a personal story with this one.
Yes.
And I'm going to share it. So, I mean, as black women, we are very attached to our hair.
Its identity.
It is a part of our identity. So, my whole life, for most of my life, let me just say, I've had relaxed hair.
Yeah.
And when I say I loved my relaxed hair, like
the straight hair.
I used to freaking love that shit. I used to burn my hair to the bone with that straightener. You see, that straightener didn't work until I saw the smoke. Until I saw the smoke and the smoke, and I needed to smell my hair
for you to know. I better
literally.
Yeah.
So I really loved it. I was in grade 10, so it must have been 2016 or 2017. No, I'm 21. Yeah, I'm there. I was like, okay, no. You know, the Afro thing was a trend, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, let me revert.
Let me go back to my roots.
Let me go back. So my first experience with natural hair was transitioning from relaxed hair because I wanted to do a big chop instead of going bald.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me do the big chop method, grow out my growth. I did that and I didn't feel beautiful, I won't lie. I really struggled with it. I was not confident in my hair. I was like, hell no, this natural hair thing is probably not for me. It was so hard. And also at that time, I knew nothing about how to take care of my hair.
It's a struggle.
At the time, because right now, 4C hair, there's a lot more content. But at the time that I was...
And products.
Yeah, and products. At the time, when we were speaking about transitioning, I didn't really see people with afros of my texture. It was more so the
3A, the
curly, 3A, the 3C, maybe if I was lucky, a 4A sort of hair texture, but never like 4B or 4C. So I never used to like see girls with a really like tight afro whose hair reacted like mine, and also you take care of it a bit differently. And I was really struggling because I think representation at the time wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my word, like my hair, it's not looking like hers, you know? My hair looks like this and it doesn't look nice. I didn't know how to take care of it. It looked hideous. And so that same year, I straightened my hair. I went back to relaxed hair. And, I just felt sad, more sad with straight hair, because as much as I wasn't confident with my afro, I missed just being able to see my growth and see my curls. So that year I was in matric, actually 2019. That's when I decided, I'm like, fuck this shit. I cut off all my relaxed ends, and I just was like, okay, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna cut off my growth, and then I'm going to braid, and then I'm going to like grow out my afro through braiding. And I invested in my hair. I won't lie.
Good products. Yeah.
I have invested in my hair, so I went ham. I made the investments, and I started at the time 2019. There was more Afro 4C, so I think at the time I was watching Sinovuyo. At the time I was watching people with 4C hair. I think more people with 4C hair at the time, and I learned how to properly take care of it. But it's still a journey.
Yeah.
There were times where, and even till this day, there are times where I don't feel confident with my afro. And it's painful because you have to kind of unlearn. I used to cry, child.
Yeah.
I won't lie, I used to cry. And you're like crying for hair, but
hey, crying for hair your hair is a stress.
hair is
especially
something.
if it doesn't come out right.
Yeah.
God.
And yeah, till this day, this is where I am now. I have beautiful 4C hair underneath this
I can
protective
attest,
hair.
yeah.
And I am about 3 years natural. Almost 4 years in. Yeah.
I also started my natural hair journey in grade 10, but my story is more so of I genuinely do not know how to go a week with natural hair.
Yeah.
So if my natural hair is out for the week, that week I'm inside the house.
Yeah.
I'm inside the house till my hairstylist is like, okay, I can braid your hair.
Yeah.
So I can do the braids, I can do the locks, but to go out with the poof,
Yeah.
it's
but
hard.
you have to it's hard. I won't lie. It's a journey and it's a struggle to learn how to love. Because even me, sometimes I'll be like blow drying my hair, taking care of my hair and stuff, and I just be like, this looks like shit. But then I'm just like, fuck it.
I just don't know how to do it. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of, I usually see hands where they put like this
puff.
band and
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
puff. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And because I don't know how to do it,
It's
I'm
a
like,
rough. I won't lie. That's
Yeah.
that's the hairstyle you do. Because you see me, like I have 2 hairstyles. So I usually, when I'm really in love with my hair, I wear it out.
yeah.
So I don't puff it. I
Yeah,
just wear it out.
yeah.
When I'm not feeling grand about my hair, that's when you see me in a high puff. Or I won't lie, I do want to invest in a wig. Just for those days. I won't lie.
Because there are those days where it's like, I need to leave a house, but this hair is not cooperating.
But this hair is not, just for those days where I'm just really struggling with it. I hope to get to the point where I let go of the shit. You know what I mean? Completely. I free my mind. Like I free my mind and just let go of all the, because it's a mental thing. Because when I go out with my hair, everyone's so complimentary. Oh my gosh, your hair looks so nice. Your hair is so nice. And for me, it's like, I feel like my hair looks like shit. And it's just a mental
battle that you need to overcome.
It's a mental battle because, it's not real. And it's sort of Western how we've grown up. And like, I don't know about you, but for a long time in my childhood, because I came out the womb, then when my hair started to grow, my mom relaxed it.
Yeah.
So I think for a long time, I genuinely thought that was my natural hair texture. And then I remember when I was a kid, I used to be like, I'm wearing my natural hair when it was relaxed. Yeah. And then my dad would say, but your hair's not natural. And I'd be like, what do you mean? Like, this is growing out of my scalp. Like, this is my natural hair. He's like, no, your hair's not natural. And I only came to understand that literally coming
years
towards
later.
high school.
Yeah. With me, my hair was always braided. Yeah. So you know how they always say, I always say that as well, that braids is more of a cultural thing.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing.
Let me try to adjust this mic because I'm really not comfortable.
It's not comfortable, right?
So braids is a cultural thing within the Black community. It's one of those cultural aspects that worldwide we understand that as Black people, braids is our thing. And that anyone that's doing braids, especially braids like us, you appropriating the culture, right? So I've always been in braids. My baby pictures is always braids. So it's braids with beads, braids with curls.
I love braids. I won't lie.
Braids with the big poom things at the bottom. I don't know if you've seen, Rihanna had a photo shoot once.
Yeah,
those type of braids. So it's always been braids for me. Despite my mom relaxing my hair here and there, it was braids.
It was mainly braids.
But the point of relaxing my hair was sometimes you just
to
get
loosen
those
the texture.
Yeah, hairstylists who don't know how to work with natural hair. They don't have that grip game where they can tuck the hair in.
Till this day, I mean, till this day, it's a struggle because every time you go to a hairstylist and you're like, oh, please braid my hair, they want to blow dry the fuck out of your hair.
They even bring the blow dryer. I'm like, whoa,
I'm like, child. I'm like, I can't. Like, they want to blow dry the fuck out of your hair. And you're like, please don't blow dry my hair. They're like, no, but I can't. Like, and your hair is too tough. It's just like, girl, it's not that deep. I think, and this is why I want to speak on it, and I think this is like very personal to a lot of black women. The whole narrative about natural hair being so much work. The true texture of our hair, even when you wear your hair stretched out, I mean, that's why I'm saying for me it's a natural journey. It's still not like our hair shrinks. And it's natural when it's moisturized, it's healthy when it's in its shrunken state, it's in its healthiest, you know, it's healthy, you know, it's absorbing the water. That's how our hair is supposed to be. It's like skin. Yeah, it's like, you know, when you're dehydrated, when you lift up your skin and it stays like this, you know you're dehydrated. But so when it bounces back, you know you're cool. So it's like with hair, when it goes back to being shrunken and everything. It's healthy, it's perfect when it's shrunken, but you know, that's still not how I would wear my hair because I'm not mentally confident. That's how my hair is. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. So you know when I say I can't leave the house, it's because it's like it's shrunken, and to be honest, I feel like a boy. It's giving a young people afro. I'm like, boy, but those are Western ideas. You know what I mean? That's the hard part. Like, you know, I have to always be like, hey, why don't I like my shrinkage? Or why don't I ask yourself? I think that's the reason why I became serious about going natural, because I sat in the mirror and I'm like, why don't you like your afro? I also feel like it's because it's not put in the media so much. And not to say personally I have a problem going out with my hair looking like that. It's the energy you get from other people when you go out looking like that. That's overwhelming. Because for me, sometimes I feel like I'm cocky. I'm like, get a shit, man. Like you can't do nothing to me. And then it just takes that one person to say, oh, but you look like a boy. To set it off for you to be like, hey. Or somebody when your hair's so shrunken. But your hair was so big yesterday. It's like, to me, I'm a black woman. Like Whitney said, or Chaka Khan, whichever one you want to pick. I'm everyone. It's all in me. You get Keisha, Natasha, Sasha, Mang the next day with black women, because our hair, we can always, you know, switch it out. Can I ask you something? So, you know how, like as I said, I went natural around 2016, 2017. It was a time where very natural hair. And now the trend is people reverting to relaxed. How do you feel about that? What is the reasoning behind that? What is the reasoning? Because for me, if you are relaxing your hair for a bag, then that's different. Yeah, that's different. So we won't sit here and lie and pretend in predominantly white society, our natural hair is still seen as something that is not professional. So back in high school, especially the code of conduct, that code of conduct was not made for black kids. That code of conduct was never made for black kids. My biggest question was, why did these, and I'm going to speak on traditionally white schools. I don't want to say private schools. I want to go into, because Fourways High, Pretoria boys, Pretoria girls, traditionally white schools. Let's just say that. Why were they so fixated on having a uniform hair policy when black people's hair and white people's hair is just different. Not the same? We can't have the same hair policy for two different hair types, because you have teachers saying things like, you need to tame your hair. That the use of the language tame to kind of give the vibe that it's animalistic. And it's like a solution to me taming my hair would be let me move at the back of the class so that you can't say my afro is blocking anyone's view. But no, that was not enough. Or criminalizing locks. Even braids. They tell you how thick your braids should be. Remember how long. Come on, the color. I mean, I felt for black men the most, because why was it an issue with black men braiding cornrow? I'm not even talking about having singles. I'm a cornrow. Straight back. Cornrow. The policing of black bodies within white institutions is pervasive. It's pervasive. It's problematic. It's
Derogatory.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the word. It's just very tiring. So you have white teachers that criminalize you for having locks. And I'm saying locks, not dreadlocks, because the word dread, words have power. For having locks, are you in a gang, blah, 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 blah. And these things transcend to the household. Because now, because your parents are hearing this, they want to do everything they can to make sure you as a black kid, you're not a target. Because in, what's the Sizwe Bantu's Dead, the play, towards the end, no, Banzi, I think. Sorry, I stand to be corrected. Towards the end in the play, Udud said, how can I avoid trouble as a black man when my skin color is the trouble?
And that's the thing.
So you are forced to change, like literally break yourself down. And coming with this change is a resentment for everything you have. So eventually you start resenting Afro because Afro is the reason you couldn't get into this job place. You start resenting your skin color and you want to whiten yourself because the lighter you are, the better you are,
Let's be honest. Because even with lightening and bleaching, and black women are insecure. It's sad, but it's true. We are insecure. And it's the world that made us this way. I mean, Malcolm X said it. We are the most disrespected
group of women
in society. And everything we do gets shit on. Like, everything we do. And I'm sorry, we do get mad when this is who we are. These are our bodies. We, historically, having a big ass, being curvy, was that not disgusting a couple of years ago?
It was celebrated prior to colonization. So it was celebrated and then they took Sarah Baartman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then it was like,
I'm saying within like just in general mainstream media. Let me just limit
Is it though?
Like right now.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about like, let's think about the 2000s. What body type? Because obviously within black spaces, that wasn't necessarily a part of mainstream media. I feel like blackness is trending, like it's more recent. But prior to that, it wasn't.
For me, curvy women have always been celebrated, especially curvy light-skinned women. Because the rap 90s videos.
Yeah, but
if you weren't that girl, it was a problem. Hence the BBL culture.
But even within the 90s, I was only in black spaces. If we're talking about Vogue, if we're talking about
the thing
mainstream media,
we can't care about Vogue if we're trying to fight white institutions.
I hear you on that, but mainstream media is the main thing that I consumed when I had to like grow up and check other things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Like Pinterest, but you have to put black
Pinterest,
girl
you have to put black
next to
I had to be conscious of that. But growing up, I grew up seeing, and especially me, because I followed fashion a lot, I would see white models, and they didn't have my hair texture, and they didn't have hair like me. Like when I was 3, and I was consuming that stuff, I used to put a towel on my head because I wanted like long shade. I won't lie, like I did that shit, bro. I used to put a towel on my head as a 3-year-old because I wanted that hair, and that affected me to the point where when I started relaxing, that's why I wanted straight hair. I was obsessed with my hair being able to move and flow in that way. I didn't understand. I was a kid until I started to understand the world around me. That shit started to change,
For me, I think because I grew up in a West African home with parents who come from a place where Africanacity had a strong hold on people, I don't have the exact same experience. Because we come from a region where Kwame Nkrumah encouraged people to dress in their kente cloth or speak in their language. And then you transition into a South African context and you see the culture difference where Drum Magazine, the front page of Drum Magazine, and not 2000s Drum Magazine, I'm talking 80s Drum Magazines, the covers that are still out there, you're seeing some light-skinned woman doing the tango with straight hair. and you're like, that does not represent blackness. We don't have black role models, and not in the sense of someone to look up to, but a figure where you like, oh, that is blackness, or that is a blackness I'm trying to get to. You always had to look out. So with me, when it came to the whole dark skin chat and wanting to like my dark skin self, for example, I had to look to figures like Oprah Winfrey and Naomi Campbell for that. Yeah. Because I didn't have that around me apart from my mom, you know what I mean? So now you look at people in which your mom thinks in a different manner. So you also, so what I mean by that, it's not colorism, but this is the example of it. So you have kids where in grade 1, they'll be like, no, I don't want to stand in the sun for too long because my mom says I'm going to go dark. Yeah. If your mom's thinking like that, what can I expect from you as a kid growing up?
I wouldn't say, like, for me, I wouldn't say my mom didn't teach me to hate myself as a black person.
Of course not.
No. But this is where I say it's what I was consuming. I mean, I would watch TV, and obviously I would look at Naomi Campbell, but Naomi Campbell would wear a wig or weave. You know what I'm saying? And the black women that I would see, like Kerry Washington, every black woman I would see still didn't have hair like mine, because they also were
in the industry also that did not allow.
That did not allow. You know? It was also the industry as well. It's only recently that it's really started to change, and we're really starting to change this. But I'm saying the environment that I grew up in, hopefully my kids won't have to. I had to unlearn, I had to decolonize my mind. I had to free my mind from that stuff, because initially I'd be lying to say if I say that my dream hair when I was a kid was to have an afro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or big afro, because I didn't see that.
This is how you know that media plays a big role in the way people view themselves. Because if you are constantly seeing a woman in a weave and you're told that's the beauty standard, growing up that's shoved down your throat, then now you think, oh, I gotta,
you know, that's how representation
hot comb
matters,
type shandies going on. So we also can't necessarily blame the black women in media, because they're put in a position where in order to get that role, they need to have the bust down 40-inch black jet lace front, and then it's the same here, where in the workplace, in order to be deemed professional according to the workplace code of conduct, you need to have hair that is, it represents the business well, and you have your white boss from HR telling you, these braids aren't working out, or these locks aren't working out, and you're like, you know what, in order to keep this job, I'm forced to do this, and then it grows onto you. But when it comes to hair politics, it's not one-dimensional. It's multifaceted.
It is. I think it's a subjective experience as well.
Yeah, because
some people's parents didn't let them relax their hair. Some people's parents dreaded their hair. So it is a subjective.
Because for some people, especially black men, they think women, or black women rather, have the wigs because of self-hate, and that's like to a certain extent. So for some women, self-hate. For some women, they gotta do what they gotta do, and then for some women, it's just a matter of a protective hairstyle. So you have the protective hairstyle, the braids. I prefer braids as a protective hairstyle, because
but I won't know.
It's convenient.
As a protective hairstyle, cornrows are the best.
They are the best. And then also in the morning, you just slap that wig on.
It's a very convenient
hot comb
sort of
you out
thing. No, honestly. And the money. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily blame black women for getting wigs or relaxing their hair, because for a long time and for years and years and years and years, all we've been taught is to hate ourselves. And that's why we get so pissed when Kim Kardashian or white
Gets
women get to take our shit
and then be like, yeah,
And
we the trendsetters.
literally and
Why
take
you
braids
lying?
and take all of these things, long nails or whatever it is, and reappropriate it into whiteness and make profit so much of
On some
it
trendsetters.
when
Trendsetters
for
of what?
trendsetters, and for years and years and years and years and
Think
years
they were called ghetto.
we've been called ghetto.
Now
we've
you
been
like it.
downtrodden for our hair. Like, it's infuriating. It's infuriating so much. I mean, we look at BBL now, and in the land of South Africa, guys, there are so many women with natural
Curves, yeah.
like, and real big bums. No
Yes.
BBL. You'd even think, guys, you'd even think that it's a
Hori
BBL. There's
wow.
no, it's not a BBL. It's real. It's real.
Even I look like that, girl.
Even me, sometimes I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to lie. Especially here in SA, every way you turn your head,
like,
there's this. And then you look at the Kardashians getting, and I don't want to, like, it's not a Kardashian slander podcast, but, like, it's annoying. Now they get BBLs and that's the model. Now you have to look like that. That's the image, and that's what's getting them money.
And it's like we always look like that.
Right.
And I mean, black culture essentially is pop culture.
Yeah,
Without
true.
black people, flavorless.
nothing.
As flavorless as the chicken you make on Sunday.
That's true.
like, on that mix, you have nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get you on the Kim Kardashian chat. That started back in like the 2014, 2015.
Dude.
You'd even have white men with cornrows.
Yeah, Heidi would
And
cornrow
you're
her
like,
hair.
Heibo.
Till this day, sometimes they still, I don't know, Kim still be wearing cornrow braids and everything, and it's like, it's hurt. It hurts.
And it's more hurtful when
Yeah.
a black man does not condemn it. That's
Yeah.
why I say, hey, politics
Yeah.
between black men and black women, because they're so quick to say black women hate themselves because they're wearing
And
the
yeah.
wigs, but you are so slow to call out your white
Yeah.
wife Kanye for having
that.
braids.
And like, even with the braids chat, I don't know how it was for you growing up, but when I was in school, right, my braids were like always like, because as black women, obviously we change our hairstyles.
All the time.
One thing about us, we will be switching up our braids
Every 2 weeks.
and it's just like, like white teachers touching your hair. So what's happened? You know what I mean?
The violation
The
of personal
violation
space.
of touching. Till this day, people still touch
Being
my
treated
hair.
like I don't want to say an animal, but some weird creature that you're
for your
fascinated
hair,
by.
for your
But
I don't know if you ever had this, but when teachers would check, because obviously I know black hair doesn't get a lot of lice,
yeah.
and there was obviously not much of a need, but when it was a chat of checking for lice or whatever, back in my days, it's like the way white teachers made it seem, it was almost like my hair is too greasy to even touch, or
They
it
never
was
checked us for
too-
lies because I don't know. Do black people get lies?
No, black people definitely, like, I know it's a thing that black people don't get lice, but it
Yeah.
was just in the moment. It wasn't made to. I wasn't made to feel like that. I was made to feel like
Your
my
hair's too
hair was
disgusting
too
to touch
disgusting
to
to
even
touch,
check
to
if
even
there's
check.
lies.
Yes.
I hear you.
And obviously, as a kid, when you're like 9 years old and you're consuming that, it just makes you feel like, okay,
you feel different.
Yeah.
No, we did have the lice checks, but then most of the black assistants would be like, black people don't get lice, bro. There's no point checking these kids. Because there would be multiple times where there's like a lice epidemic in school.
Yeah.
You never hear a black kid complain about lice, because one thing about us,
I know we don't get
we'll
lice.
wash our hair
Yeah.
and we'll wash our body
Yeah.
with a washcloth.
Yeah.
We don't play that game.
Yeah, facts.
But towards high school, that's when I became a bit edgy. Because me and symbolism.
Yeah.
Me and symbolism. Unapologetically black. So there'd be times in school where I'd go with long ass braids, like long, like here,
Yeah.
past knee length.
Yeah.
And I look at them like,
Yeah.
So don't tell me anything.
Yes.
If what's her name? Rapunzel came to the school with that long ass, dirty ass blonde hair that's been dragging all over the floor. You wouldn't say anything. So
as
what you
long
want
as
to
she
talk to
tied
me
it.
about my braids? Or you can't have a one color blonde braid among black braids. It's like, no, it's not allowed. It's not natural color. But you're allowed Sarah to do highlights. That's not her natural hair color. What's different
And
between
also
me and
blonde, like, and I hear this all the time because some people are like, okay, and this is the biggest conversation when, well, this is the biggest argument to do with why we white women and braiding hair. When people say, oh, but black girls wear wigs. I mean, like, that's not your natural hair texture. That's not your natural.
Who made us wear
you know,
wigs?
you know, there's that argument, and there's also the argument of, I hope I didn't lose it in my mind.
I feel like they say that because we slay the wigs, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we do slay.
Like, we slay the ish out of them wigs, bro. What white girl have you seen do that two ponytail thing here, and then it's curly
with the edges,
or you know those freak neck hair. We're just gonna put it up here somewhere. Where it's just a poom there, and then it's a swoop.
Yeah,
and then the hair is
it's beautiful.
We're creative.
We are
in conclusion, we are creative.
Yeah, just to that point, it's not even that black women can't. I mean, blonde hair is a genetic thing. It's not.
Oh yeah, it's just genetic.
Like even with that argument, like it's so stupid when people say, "Oh, but black women wear wigs and stuff." It's
like hair is genetic.
Straight hair is a genetic thing. It's not a cultural. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not cultural.
Just
it's
because
not
I'm
racial,
black, there are
genetic.
black people with blue eyes.
Exactly.
There are black people with
White
blue
people
eyes.
need to remember you
There
are mutation.
Yeah, there are some black people who have straight hair.
Yeah.
That is a genetic
mutation.
thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so braids. That's not genetic.
That's not genetic.
This is culture.
Our ancestors put rice in there. When they were hungry, they'd unbraid to eat the rice. And that was because your ancestors didn't give them food when they were working the fields or during slavery. They'd make cornrows to map out the plantation so that they know how they're escaping.
And
it has a mad amount of significance.
And it's not like white people don't have their Dutch braids and their weird little thing. Why don't they just stick to? Why do they have to have like these braids or cornrows? Why is it that they have to take that?
You can't use the argument of, oh, it's been a while. Hair doesn't have that meaning. It does. It does. The same way these white schools have these traditions that have been lasting for 80-something years. Why can't we keep our culture running? Why must the cultural significance of said thing change just because you wanted to fit your narrative? Of course, it's not going to change. And if you're uncomfortable with that, be uncomfortable. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah, no. And just to go to the point where for black women, hair will always be political. It's just
very political.
Hair will always be a political thing. And now I'm just getting to the point where if I'm not going to get a job because of my afro, I'm not going to buy a wig and try to fit in. I'm gonna find a place that accepts my afro, and even if it means, and I'm sorry that
start your own practice.
Even if it means I start my own practice, even if I have to struggle and be broke for a while, you
can't lose yourself to corporate world.
I don't want to lose myself to this white corporate world. And as much as I do understand why black women, end up,
you're just gonna stand by your shit.
I'm just gonna stand. I've gotten to the point where I don't want my child to grow up the way I did.
And I'm like that with my siblings.
Yeah, with my siblings. I don't want them to put a towel over their head.
I'm like that with my brother. Like my brother has a high top fade. He has like that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type fade. Yeah. And I'm like, keep it like that. Even though my dad has times where he's like, no, just trim a bit. I'm like, no, let the boy keep the hair like that, because that's his identity as a black man. Because I mean, as much as black men didn't experience the brunt of hair politics within white institutions as much as we did, they did go through it, because there were those black boys that would relax their fade,
they did.
and then they're out here with a comb over.
Yeah,
it's like, my boy, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Like, whoa, am I like?
So yeah, No,
Like, relax.
For real, I'm deep within natural hair, and I was saying the whole thing about how we speak. I think rhetoric is so important to hair, because how we speak about afros is just so discouraging. Afros are too much maintenance. Afros are hard work. Yo, Afro, and I'm guilty of it myself. But the truth of the matter is, the real way to take care.
But that thing is hard.
No, Choms. Choms, this is what I'm saying. Remember,
morning.
I was speaking about like you're not supposed to comb your afro. The real way to take care of your hair, right, is to get in the shower, wet it, and go.
No, but the thing is, like,
That's
to
the
put the
real
conditioner,
way.
the hair food.
I mean, washing it is one thing, because you only have to wash it once a week. I get washing it, but I'm saying the real way to actually take care of your hair is literally to spray water on your hair and keep it moving, not to plait it and stretch it, and those are all manipulations. The real nature of our hair is when it shrunk. That's how our hair is. You know, I'm not there yet. I don't want to pretend like I'm there. I won't step out of this house with my hair.
Bucket hat.
Listen, on the day when my hair is shrunk, I head wrap. I love a good head wrap.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of things. But hey, if it's the only way I wear my natural hair outside is stretched, I'm not confident yet. But that's just the truth. If all of these things are sort of colonial ideas about hair, that it's too much work, that it's unruly. All of those are colonial ideas, and it's a hard truth. That's why I say, as black women, we fighting that sort of. It's deeply entrenched.
It is, because during the times of slavery, you'd also have white female slave masters who would literally come and shave off a black woman's hair because it was seducing her husband, or they were told to cover their hair. And interesting enough, that's how do-rags came about. Yeah. So do-rags came about, obviously not in the style that it is now, but that was originally the name history, back then. Yeah. To cover your hair so that they don't see your hair, because your hair was a distraction, and even up to today your afro is still a distraction to them. And also all these hair ties and these head wraps, we have them today, or they're very prominent today because of back then. So as beautiful as these head wraps are, and as deeply entrenched as they are within different African cultures, because any culture you walk into, there's going to be a head wrap, there's going to be a duke, however you call it, there's something that's going to cover your hair. As beautiful as they are, it's just sad to know how they came about. Yeah. It's sad to know that it came about because you had to cover your hair, and not because you thought, oh, this is something cool to do. Yeah. Amen. Hair
politics is crazy. I mean, I think hair will always be a very sensitive. I mean, when it comes to black women, I just feel like when it comes to hair, like we are our hair in a sense. We are. And that's why when I see black women shaving their head, like, that is a lot that you have to let go.
I don't shave my hair. I don't even like to. Sometimes I literally just be like
honestly, I hope I get to the point where I'm that brave, or I'm that like I'm that over Western doctrines and Western
when that I just for you, like, you know what, shave the hair.
Fuck that shit and just shave, and I wear my bald head, but I ain't there yet. I don't wanna lie. I don't know.
I feel like I'd shave my hair in the summertime, not winter.
It's cold.
So I feel like this coming summer, I'm gonna shave my head.
You go, girl.
And then the only wigs I'd ever wear would be the braided wigs, because they are braided wigs.
Yeah.
And I have been eyeing braided wigs for a while now, because I'm not gonna lie, the admin of sitting and having someone, because you know the type of braids I like. It's the long braids with the tiny boxes.
Even with me, it's never I go to the salon. I'm usually 3 hours and I'm out. No matter.
No, you sit there a good 11 hours. You're like, you know what?
Sitting and sitting. It's very, you know, when you're getting braided that day. You're not doing anything.
Nothing at all. Nothing.
You're just telling you're getting hair braided. Like
exactly. So I've been eyeing those type of braids, the 40-inch braids, the blonde ones.
Look.
I'm like, let me just get it.
Yeah, look, no, as I said, like I'm not anti-wig. I myself, not even a braided wig, a straight wig, like a white woman looking wig, I would buy.
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. The 48-inch, you know what I mean?
Bust down.
I would get it, you know, and I would rock it. It's not something, because at the end of the day, as much as I want to be political all the time, like I'm human.
I rock it because I genuinely want to rock it.
It's cute. It is cute, and I don't think that it's necessary, especially now. Like nowadays wigs, they're very, very good. Back then, I wasn't really
with
rocking
the ones that stand at the back like this.
Literally, and I won't lie, I wasn't even really rocking with the leave outs back then.
Yeah,
I wasn't rocking with the leave out, because till this, I don't want to detexturize my hair. I don't want to loosen the texture. I don't want to put
straightening
in. I don't want to. I don't want to do anything to the texture of my hair. So wigs are for me an amazing way to play with your look. Fashion is fun. Playing with your look is fun. So it's also just about creativity as well. Like playing around with your hair, having blue hair, having straight hair.
100%. Having a blonde. Like, I really want to try a blonde wig.
I think that would look so
dope. For the Marilyn Monroe type
of 50s vibe.
Like,
the look will look
short
gorgeous.
bob curls, or like a burgundy. Because I had dyed my hair burgundy.
Yeah, you did have burgundy hair.
But then I had to dye it back because the hair dye really broke my hair. The hair dye broke my hair. Even my hairstylist at some point had no faith in my hair growing
By
back.
the way, if any wig company wants to sponsor us,
man,
you know what I mean? Just give us some wigs. We will wear them.
We'll wear them.
Out this quiet. We'll be here.
40-inch bust down jet black.
Thank you.
But yeah, so going forward, I feel like once again with black people, everything starts here.
True.
But also to make it easier, such institutions have to come into a space where they acknowledge that they are full of sugar honey iced tea.
True.
And that they need to change their policies.
Yeah.
Like, if you as a white person are told what you're doing is wrong, right, and you still continue, you are wicked.
True.
May thunder strike, you are wicked. And also, if someone tells you, and you still do it, may your unborn child be blind.
And I also feel like, really and truly, especially in these traditionally white schools, hey, Linda, I hear policy. Let's do it the right thing. You cannot govern black hair the same way you govern white hair.
As if you even govern the white hair. Let's be honest. Come on.
As if you even govern white hair to begin with. Let's actually stop policing black hair. Can we actually just stop that?
Can we stop policing hair in general?
It's fueling insecurity.
Because I don't want people to watch this and think that, we're asking you to treat black people better than white people. No, we're saying we want the correct treatment. Yeah. Or if you're going to treat black people like this, the same must be afforded to white students as well. But moreover, we need to let go of this whole narrative that, hair is distracting, especially in these public white schools. Hair is distracting. They don't learn. The last time I checked, it was 2 black boys that were giving sponsorships to scholarships, actually, to go study in Yale and Harvard. I didn't see Yaku. So please, don't tell me hair's distracting.
Please don't tell me.
I didn't see Kelvin Jean-Jacques there. I didn't see nobody.
But even it's ridiculous. Like, the lack of cultural
understanding as a white person who stays in Africa.
And honestly, it should be a thing where even in high school or when you're in school, you can wear a head wrap. Like, seriously?
No, but show me deep this. White people will really come here and say, no, I'm proudly African or I'm proudly South African.
No, African.
But refuse to understand
what it actually,
or just to understand how African people move.
I'm sorry. And we had this, I had this conversation with a white teacher in school. And she was like, well, yeah, I'm African, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I was born in Africa. I'm like, listen, babe, you can tell yourself you're African as much as you want. I don't see you as that. I will never look at a white person.
The most I can give you is geographically African, but that's as far as
for
it
me,
goes.
you are Caucasian.
But essentially what I'm trying to say is you can't say, oh, I'm African, and then in your bio it's giving the Italian flag with the Greece flag.
Also,
oh, I'm African. But when I try to explain to you why I have beads in my hair, you still call it an accessory. When it's not an accessory, it's cultural.
It's culture.
When I have that, I just forgot the name. A lot of Zulu people have
those yeah.
When they have it, you find the as West Africans, the effrontery to take a scissor and cut it off. Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
But African. Or just something as simple as allowing kids to speak their native language, and that's within the friendship circle.
I didn't
not
understand.
Even in class, guys, within the friendship circle.
That chat used to annoy the hell out of me, because when Afrikaans teachers need to speak to each other, they will speak.
They prat.
They
prat
They will be like, and when you wanna speak to your friend privately about issues that don't concern teachers, sometimes you are speaking to your friends about personal things. It doesn't concern you as a teacher.
Be like, no, don't speak in that language. We don't understand. I wasn't talking to you, babe.
I wasn't talking to you.
There are moments in time where when they speak in English, I reply back in my home language. It's like, and they're like, I don't understand, neither do I.
Literally.
Neither do I. So we must come at a common ground.
Yeah.
Respect me.
Respect.
I respect you. You don't respect me, I won't be that good black kid you are looking for. Yeah. And that's
on
it.
her.
That's it. Anyway, anything in closing?
Let's just love who we are as black women. You know, I'm not saying it's hard. Even me going for an afro, I'm not saying you have to change your relaxed hair to an afro hair or anything. But I think more than anything, be proud of your culture. Please, even if you rock a wig, please still rock braids. Don't be a full-on, please.
Consciously do it. So know you're wearing a wig because you're wearing a wig, and not that you're wearing a wig because you don't like your hair.
Because you don't like your hair. Please do still give us braids. Even in the way you wear your wig. Don't just do the normal wig stuff. Try to put your blackness
into it, girl.
And that's all I ask. And just as black women, we need to work on loving ourselves more, but truly loving the essence of who we are and where we come from, and not letting media or whatever it is disrespect us. That's what I'm saying.
To start boycotting companies that disrespect black people, quote unquote, that one that it rhymes with Blix. Yeah. That company.
Yes.
Boycott companies like that. And moreover, to understand that hair politics is very multifaceted.
Yes.
So to understand that women aren't wearing wigs solely for self-hate.
Yeah.
There are many other reasons.
Yeah.
And that black men need to be supportive with such a venture, and not to instantly assume that it's self-hate, and maybe more so because of provisions that have been put in place that have pushed black women into, said corner.
Yeah.
But other than that, we are done. We'll see you next episode. We will have a guest speaker all the way from Stellenbosch. But
from Stellenbosch.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching on YouTube, and thank you for listening. Okay. Bye.